You're watching the FARC Elite Series, powered by Smash Beer on OEN. Brought to you this week by Arnold Pine Certified Pre-Owned Cars, the most trusted pre-owned car dealer in the Midwest. Here are the highlights of the Sleez Cheez 200 at Road America, race 41 of the championship. And on the Marlisle pole would be Michael Madrigal in car number Pi for Math Motors. But as Madrigal gets settled for the first corner, Jack Dempsey in the 40 sticks his nose to the inside, but he has to check up through turn 1. Michael Madrigal with the momentum is going to keep the lead through the first couple of corners, which were very clean. But then as the field stacks up, entering Station 5, Nanami Miura gets hit from behind by Tanner Clayson and turned around. Lap 2, Kiki Hitsuno falls off the pace. Nick Azure has absolutely no patience for her and dumps her into the wall under the Briggs & Stratton sign. Hitsuno clawed her way into a transfer spot in the sprints, but now she's done in the opening laps. Lap 3, on the run down to Station 5, Bob Steffens got alongside Jack Dempsey, and then he dives into the corner and makes a move on Michael Madrigal for the race lead. And then Steffens slingshots around the outside of Madrigal to take the position. Steffens showing his hand early on, going from 3rd to 1st in one lap. Something breaks on the 8 car of Lucas Sweeney. He slides right across Libby Bell's bumper, but he keeps that car straightened out. However, he is going to have to park it at the side of the road. Sweeney would rejoin the race, but he would be a couple laps down. Jeremy Baker from 6th place also breaks down. He would also lose several laps after having a very good weekend until now. Joseph Howard, the Sprint 2 winner, loses his brakes and slams into that tire wall. Howard was running in 5th place. He would climb out of that car, but at 17, obviously done. More problems for Pearson Sweeney Motorsports as Jason Bates in the 2 now breaks down. He will fall off the lead lap as well. Lap 9, Michael Madrigal had been knocked back to 3rd, and now he pulls into the pit lane with a problem under the hood of that Pi car. We're not even 10 laps into this 32-lap race, and already we've had several mechanical failures as Radomir Stanichev now breaks down and pulls the 82 to the side of the road. Bob Steffens has built up a massive lead, and now he kicks off pit stops on lap number 13. Also on lap 13, the 83 of Tammy Barnton goes up in smoke while running 26th. She was the only HQS driver to transfer to the feature. Jim Hayes in the 77 stayed out 1 lap later than most of the other leaders. Tire wear has made a huge difference in people's lap times this weekend. Hayes' best lap so far was a 2:03. His last lap was a 2:19. Makoto Yamada in the 22 also stayed out for an extra lap. It seemed strange that some teams would stay out and lose all that time to the people who did pit. As we see, Vincenzo Focusato has gotten into the back of Kenny Brillin. That's going to take Focusato out of the race. He came into this race, I believe, 2nd in Rookie of the Year points. Ashley Tucker in the Bjorn Green car would blow up on lap 15 and give Ryan Matthews a nice smoke screen. Tucker had just come out of the pit lane. Bob Steffens reassumed the lead, but then he smashes into the back of the slow car of Harry Essanola, entering Station 5, and that's a lot of damage to the front end of Steffens' car. He would have to come back into the pit lane to get that repaired, but the Team Thunder crew would then give Bob Steffens full service, the idea being that they would be able to make it to the end of the race from here on lap 17. Regardless, a very huge blow for Bob Steffens, who was walking away with this race, and that would hand the lead over to Jack Dempsey for Accelerator Motorsports. Kevin Monroe in the Blue Line Burger Star would give chase in 2nd. Allie Riggs, while battling with Kelly Splicen, is going to lose her brakes, almost wiped out the 88 of Kelly Posadas, and Riggs ends up embedded in the tire wall. She was running in 20th at the time. Rachel Rainsford also breaks down from 25th. She would go out of the race as well. Makoto Yamada, after pitting 1 lap later, is actually faster than some of the leaders on that slightly fresher rubber, and here he is right after getting around Jim Hayes for 4th place. So the strategy of staying out on useless rubber is showing some signs of actually working. And Bob Steffens, despite that damage to the 7 car, is also faster than several of the leaders. Remember that he got full service after that collision with Harry Essanola, and he would be able to make it to the end of the race on fuel. Here he is going by Leslie Riggs for 7th. Ryan Matthews in the 61 continues to struggle compared to his points rivals Jim Hayes and Libby Bell, who are both inside the top 5. Matthews is hovering around 10th at the moment, and Jim Hayes has been slowly eating away at that deficit with his performances this weekend. Mo Lester now has a problem in that 619 car on lap 20. He pulls to the side of the road. He was running in 29. Bob Steffens continues to make up ground on that fresher rubber, and here he is making a move on Jim Hayes for 5th, entering Station 5. Steffens and Makoto Yamada are 2 of the fastest cars on the track right now. Here is Yamada getting by Libby Bell for 3rd. However, if these two continue to play the strategies that they're currently on, they are going to lose some ground once the rest of the leaders pit. And the final stops would be occurring in the next few laps. Here is Jack Dempsey as he continues to increase his lead, now with 10 laps to go. Here are Kenny Brillin and Dan Legleiter fighting for 21st. Brillin has the position right now. Why are we showing this? Because these two haven't been able to stay away from each other all weekend. They were battling for position in the first sprint as well. Kevin Monroe from 2nd is the first to kick off the second round of pit stops. Libby Bell follows him in, but then on her outlap, she runs into the back of Joel Rodriguez, entering Station 5. And that would take Libby Bell out of the race after a top 5 run, a big disappointment for the team that came into this race 3rd. Jack Dempsey peels off 1 lap later than Monroe and Bell. However, with the lead he's got, this later stop will not affect him too much. And as expected, Makoto Yamada would come in 1 lap later than that, and this puts Bob Steffens back in the lead, coming to 5 laps to go. Steffens would not pit again. However, he is running about 10 seconds slower than everyone else who did pit, and Jack Dempsey is catching him in a hurry. And it only took another half lap for Dempsey to catch Bob Steffens, who puts up absolutely no resistance as Dempsey takes the lead back. Steffens would then fall victim to Kevin Monroe, who moves back into 2nd place. Bob Steffens has never won a FARC race, and he could have possibly changed that had he not smashed into the back of Harry Inola. But now he's going to salvage what he can. Jim Hayes, running in 6th place, loses his brakes. Going into turn 1, the same fate that befell his teammate Joseph Howard. Hayes would end up finishing 25th, and as Ryan Matthews passed the accident scene, I'm sure he started breathing a little bit easier. And then Matthews would pick up another position as Leslie Riggs now blows up with 2 laps to go. But all eyes were on Jack Dempsey as he rounds the final couple of corners. Dempsey was kicked off of Australian TV and has sought his redemption in motorsports. He was called in to replace the injured Megan Driver at Accelerator Motorsports, and now he comes up the hill to claim his first FARC Elite Series victory. And I believe Dempsey becomes the first Australian to win a race since 1993. Kevin Monroe would come home 2nd, Makoto Yamada 3rd, Bob Steffens, after a valiant effort, salvages 4th place, and Andre Kinasa in the black and yellow 78 comes home 5th. And with his points rivals falling by the wayside, Ryan Matthews extends his lead once again. Jim Hayes trails by 56 points after his crash. Libby Bell is now a full race behind, and Kevin Monroe is now 2 full races behind. However, I dare say that everyone up to 5th still has a realistic shot at the title. Realistic being if some disaster prevented 1st through 3rd from making it out of the sprints in the next couple of weeks. However, based on the consistency that the leaders have shown, that is not likely to happen. And now looking at the Rookie of the Year battle, Frank Asher extends his lead over Reed Bullitt. He now leads by more than 2 full positions. But the battle for 3rd has heated up considerably. 3rd through 7th are all separated by 9/10ths of a spot. With 3 race weekends to go, the next stop is the Chicago Motor Speedway in Cicero, Illinois, for the Eradicab 150. And yes, that track does exist for NR now.